So back on Wednesday, I put out a video talking about FANSTOYS and why those figures cost so much on the secondary market. Now, if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. That is a prelude to this video, which you can watch them independently and separately. It's still fun. But this video is going to talk about 10 expensive releases that you can find more affordable alternatives to. And before we get into this, please press the like button. You are watching the Titanium Hangar, where we talk about vintage to modern Star Wars, Transformers, video games, and anything else really cool that we feel like talking about. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please press the subscribe button, turn on notifications so you can get these videos first. You can comment first and be part of the discussion first, because hey, that's where I have the fun, is the discussion. So moving into this, we're going to start with number 10. Number 10 is BADCUBE's BRAWNY. And BADCUBE BRAWNY, to me, always felt a little weird. Now, it's the best, it was the best option for a while. And I always kind of felt like they took Brawn, and then they squished Brawn. And there is BADCUBE's BRAWNY. Now, although he was the best option for a while, we have better now. I think Final Victory looks better. And we're not talking about build quality, we're not talking about transformation, but I think the transformation on Final Victory is even better than that too. But now that I have a Final Victory, I sold my Brawny, because I have a feeling when FANSTOYS comes out, I can't give Brawny away. I think I'll get as much for an eye gear as I would give for a Brawny when FANSTOYS drops. And that's the other alternative, is FANSTOYS. FANSTOYS one's going to look good. It's going to look great. And then, of course, you do have the eye gear if you want to just get a cheap $30 one to get you through. Number 9. Number 9, I'm going to talk about the FANSTOYS Bug Bots. Now, it's number 9 on my list simply because I'm talking about all the bots. If I was talking about just Forager, well, you're looking at, what, potentially a $300 figure. And I know that because I got a Forager, I got the Bug Bots in a deal, and I just looked to see if anything was selling for a lot of money, and I'll just sell it to help pay for $700 I just dished out. And I sold my Forager almost immediately for $300. I got another Forager in another deal, and it sold for $300. Now, I just can't keep that figure because it just keeps selling for $300. So I'm like, whatever. I could tell you that those are quality figures. They look good. But here's an alternative. I was pleasantly surprised when I got the $100 MMC Melee Militia set. And that was a good set. It's still a good set. And it was bigger than I thought. I thought those figures were smaller than FANSTOYS. But these were actually taller than FANSTOYS. So that was a surprise to me. And with that, you could get the BADCUBE ones also, but I would recommend MMC over the BADCUBE for a couple of reasons, but more of it, they're taller. I like the aesthetic better. The BADCUBE ones are actually getting hard to get right now also. So you kind of be in the same predicament. Number 8. My number 8 one is Impossible Toys QUINTESSONS, and they made like 5 of these, and the thing is that there's not really another option right now other than the Impossible Toys QUINTESSONS. Those are the only ones out there, the only game in town, but they're not in town anymore. Impossible Toys has closed up shop, but this is one of the marks that they left on the collecting community that still resonates today. Now, there's this $13 chug size one, which a lot of people use for a stand-in. So you could use that as a stand-in. But what's coming is X-TRANSBOTS Dr. Egg. And I think that X-TRANSBOTS, since now it's been, what, 8 years or something? Or 5 to 8 years since we've been able to get our hands on the Impossible Toys version, that we have a lot of room to improve on those, make better ones with better features. Who knows what X-TRANSBOTS plan on doing. Although they've been awfully silent about what they're doing with it. They've been awfully silent about every single release. Except now Sea Spray, we're hearing something about that. Number 7. So the MMC tapes. Now, more specifically right now, it's the Furor and Riot, or the Rumble and Frenzy. And before well, it kind of still is right now, but before it was Ravage. Ravage is getting re-released. You can go to Show Z for $3 and do a pre-order. It's probably going to be $70, so you knock $3 off that, then another $3. But anyhow, right now, those are the ones that are getting hard to find and going up in price, and they're sold out everywhere. And there's my alternative for that is to get either the MPs or a KO of the MPs as stand-ins. So you got the Takara Tomy ones or a KO of the Takara Tomys. There's knocked off left and right, up and down, all over the place. So it's pretty easy to get those. And those would be good stand-ins till you get those. But I think MMC has done an excellent job with these tapes. I think they need to do more tapes. It's like they can't stop re-releasing them because they sell out every time they re-release them. But they need to do some tapes for a blaster. They need to do some a rat bat. Then there's more that they could do and they need to do, and I'd like to see those. 6. Number 6 on my list is X-TRANSBOTS Aegis. And yes, as X-TRANSBOTS ages from its release date, it goes up in price. Now, that thing was selling between $80 and $90 depending on where you bought yours. I got mine for $79.99, and I went back and actually double checked my orders to make sure that's how much I paid. And now that thing sells for $150 to some cases $200. Now, it almost blows my mind that the thing sells for that much when there are so many other options out there. But the one I would recommend is the MMC's version of Trailbreaker, which is TERRAEGIS. TERRAEGIS. Which is kind of funny. Anyway. Now, I do have to say, I have the MMC's version of the Hoist, and it looks good. It looks okay, but it feels super flimsy cheap. I feel like the X-TRANSBOTS version feels a lot heftier. And I also feel like the X-TRANSBOTS Pien is a better option, so they're Hoist, because they're sort of similarly based off the same mold. But I think that the X-TRANSBOTS just did a much better job than MMC for this set of characters. But the MMC one is fine. It's fine. And I still think FANSTOYS will blow both of them away. Number 5. Number 5 is FANSTOYS Sovereign. So, I think FANSTOYS Sovereign is a great figure. It looks good. I have no qualms with that figure whatsoever. He's a heavy brick. He gives us and delivers us everything that FANSTOYS delivers and has delivered. And the thing is, it's been re-released twice now. And I looked at it and I thought about getting it, but I already have the affordable alternative, which is the DX9's Tyrant. Now, DX9's Tyrant, I think, is a perfectly good looking figure. I can sit here and look at that thing, and he looks like Galvatron, and he looks fine. The problem with DX9's Tyrant is if you put him right next to side by side with the FANSTOYS, you can see how the FANSTOYS looks more like the cartoon. It looks more accurate, and it's got a little bit more of a polish to it. But on Tyrant, I like the color of purple that they used. I like the height, and I like the way that those treads, or whatever you want to call those, are on his back and not his arms. Even though it shows it as animationally correct, if it's on the arms, they're still always too big on the arms, and it takes away too much of the aesthetic of the sculpt. But anyway, there are things they both do better. I would rate FANSTOYS slightly higher than the DX9 that I have, but in the end, DX9 is an affordable option, and it's getting more affordable all the time. Number 4. Number 4 is the FANSTOYS Lupus, and with that figure did not get great reviews. People actually were very negative and sour on that figure, only for now that figure to come out and be sought after. Still looks the best representation of Weirdwolf. Now, there is a Fansproject version out there. Yeah, FANSTOYS, the Fansproject. And I think it's like a Function X line or something like that. And that's the only real other alternative. Now, the problem with the Fansproject one is it's so short. It's just too short. But it's still a stand-in. I have the Fansproject version of, well, I did have their Mind Wipe, and I do still have their Brainstorm. And so with those, I can kind of see the height and the size and how that is a challenge on your shelf. Number 3. Number 3 is the FANSTOYS Tesla. And this is the best looking Perceptor out there. Now, with that, he needs an improvement on a face sculpt. I hear a lot of people talking about brittle plastic and it breaking, and I do hear several other QC issues with this figure. Now, there's no chance of it getting re-released this year or even next year, from what I hear and what FANSTOYS has actually emailed me back. But there are 2 alternatives. Now, they're not going to be as good, and a lot of people are going to go, no way. But Hasbro made a very good-looking Perceptor that if you could tweak it, put it in there just right, you could make it work. Fake it till you make it, and it's only like 15 bucks. There's that option. Now, a lot of people are like, no, it doesn't look good enough, and it's way too small, which it is too small. There's another option. Slap in a G1 figure. That G1 figure actually is one of the best looking, best articulated G1 figures that they made, and he would serve as a placeholder until another company makes one or FANSTOYS re-releases it. Those are alternatives. You may not like those alternatives, but they still are alternatives. Number 2. Number 2 is, now I'm throwing a Legends in this list because guess what? It's not 8-year-old kids out there buying Legends figures. It's MP collectors that are doing this either on the side or to complement CityBots. So yes, there's a Legends that made this list, and out of all the Legends that I have looked at or had anything to do with, it's these DX9 Warren Pocket Seekers that have absolutely gone through the roof. The DX9 Warren Pocket Seekers 3-pack came out, it was like 60 or 70 bucks. I'm looking at old prices on TF Source showing 60 or 70 bucks. But there's a couple of alternatives. There's 2 alternatives. Now, when you're talking Legends, you could cheat a lot with Legends scale. The first thing you could do is you could go with the Iron Factory versions. But now, okay, I'm not an expert in Legends, but I understand Iron Factories are slightly bigger. So I guess they're referring to that as Legends Plus. I've never had an Iron Factory version of these. So that's an option. They look okay. They're a little bit more stylized and maybe a little bigger. But there's an option. The other option is to go Hasbro, which it's Hasbro's Legends it's their whole terminology. It's their whole size class. It is a Hasbro Legends is where the size even came from. So peppering in a Hasbro release to me doesn't seem like a bad thing on a Legends collector. But I'm not huge into Legends, so maybe I'm wrong on that. Number 1. Any guesses? Number 1 is FANSTOYS Spotter. FANSTOYS Spotter is unique in a way that the price is through the roof. It sells for anywhere from $350 to $5 something. And the reason for that is you have 3 relatively full-size FANSTOYS figures. If you think about this, FANSTOYS Spotter is basically the same thing as the 3 FANSTOYS Bugs. Although Spotter came out for $130 for the set, we just don't realize how good of a value getting those 3 figures were back in the day. But now you've got the 3 bug bots that sell for $600 for the set, mostly because Forager's so expensive, and the other 2 are like $150 each. Forager $300, so it's like $600 for a set. But with Spotter, that set's going through the roof, and it's just not stopping. It's just a very expensive set, and it looks good. And if you look at it, there are a couple of alternatives. And in every case, I still think FANSTOYS wins, but option 1 is MAKETOYS Visualizer, which MAKETOYS Visualizer is a decent set. It looks good, and I passed on it and said, oh, it's not good enough for me. And then I was doing a collection video, my friend Brandon's collection, and I saw his, first off, posed very well, displayed very well, looking good, and I had to have the set. So I went and got it. It was like $120 or $130 or something like that. And, you know, $130 for a set of 3 figures was great. The other alternative, which I have never touched or held or handled, but I'm seeing it in pictures, and I have more of an appreciation for now, is the KFC OPTICLONES. Now, I've had a lot of people say great things about the KFC OPTICLONES, but I've had a few people say a couple of negative things. But in the end, it's getting re-released right now. If you do pre-order for that for like $130 to $140, depending on where you pre-order it, that thing looks good. I don't think it's quite as good as FANSTOYS, and I'm hearing it's taller. So it's like, whoa, wait. I like taller the better. So I got a pre-order out for that. So there's my list of 10 expensive releases with affordable alternatives. If you watch this 6 months from now, it's going to change. I could find 10 more figures out there that have gone up in value that have possibly a replacement. But anyway, let me know what you think on this list, and let me know if you have any better alternatives for any of these figures on this list. Like, subscribe. Tyrant Hanger out.